Prolonged and intense sim racing sessions, combined with a warm environment, sim racing enthusiasts will be familiar with how hot, sweaty, and uncomfortable this hobby can be. So let's introduce the Next Level Racing ERS3 HYPERCOOL to provide some relief. This is no ordinary racing seat. Concealed within are a series of fans with the express purpose of providing a built-in cooling feature to keep you chilled even if the action on track is hotting up. Sorry about the scrappy unboxing, but I do like to show you how these things arrive and the packaging. You will notice the backrest and the seat base are separate. These easily fix together, as you will see a bit later. This does aid installation. You bolt the base in first and then attach the backrest, making it a less cumbersome process. Included are fixtures, fittings and tools. The manual features instructions detailing the different mounting options. The HYPERCOOL comes pre-installed with a seat slider, so there's nothing unusual to tackle and no difference from a regular car seat. On first inspection, the HYPERCOOL looks like an ordinary racing seat, and I must admit that fooled me too while unpacking. But when we dive in deeper, you'll notice the cover has a perforated material. On the reverse side, we get the same material. All this is to channel airflow. When I run the lamp across the back, you can see the light leak through and the partial outline of the fan placement. You should be able to see from this there are 3 facing fans stacked in a vertical line. When I press into the area where the fans are located, I don't feel any hard spots. The fans are moving with the cushion as it compresses. I can also tell just below the surface there's a thin layer of foam in front of the fans. If I apply pressure on both sides, I can feel the frame of the fans. I think these are 80mm fans. The seat also has 3 embedded fans, positioned where I'm indicating. Two cables poke out of the back of the seat. The first one is the power connection, and the second one hooks up the fans to the backrest. On the right hand side of the seat is a 3-way switch for 2 fan speeds and the off position. I'm installing the seat onto the SimLab P1X Pro cockpit. The seat sliders will be bolted to the aluminium profile rails you can see in the picture. I had no problem with the front bolts, they are exposed and easily accessible. The ones at the back are another story. The holes are located within a tight space directly underneath the chair, so fair warning, they are extremely awkward to reach. You'll have to place them blind just by feel, as the gap is only barely wide enough for your fingers. Though I did manage it in the end, after some struggle and effort. Yeah, super awkward, but it is possible, just be aware, kind of frustrating. And that's the reason to attach the backrest last. And thankfully, this final part of the installation is frustration free. The ERS3 HYPERCOOL is essentially a Next Level Racing ERS3 Elite. It's the same size and materials, but this special edition has some of the cushioning hollowed out for the embedded arrangement of fans. The fans are well concealed in the backrest, and other than the air pushing through, you wouldn't know they are there. As for the base cushion, I can feel I'm sitting on something slightly firmer than just the cushion. The position over the rear fan, not the other two fans. The fans move as the cushion compresses, so it's not a hard spot as such, but there is a slight feeling of inconsistency. I don't find this uncomfortable. I've sat in this seat for hours at a time, and I tend not to notice it too much. The firmness and support the seat provides is like a typical reclining car seat, so that's what you can expect. I find this perfectly comfortable for long sessions, and I've had this installed for a good couple of months at this point, and I'm more than satisfied with the fit and feel of this chair. It's slightly wider than a normal car seat, so you do have a little bit more room to move around. The fabric covering should be durable. It's still looking fresh and hasn't shown any wear and tear after these few weeks. On the lowest fan setting, the fans make a slight hum. I doubt you'll hear them over your speakers. To get the most benefit, I always use the high setting. The fan sound does ramp up significantly, and I feel a slight vibration through the seat. Neither of which I'm finding distracting, so I wouldn't consider these negative points, simply observations I'm sharing. Now the big question really is how effective is the cooling? The best word to describe this is subtle. It feels like a gentle fresh breeze. The air has to force its way through the mesh fabric and also through your clothing. If you're wearing thick clothing, you probably won't get any benefit, so do bear that in mind. Over the time I've had this set up, in the UK we've experienced some extreme days of variable temperature changes. In my room the ambient temperature has bounced around between 22 degrees on one day and then some days up to 31 degrees centigrade. In the low 20s, the HYPERCOOL is good enough to provide some pleasant cooling relief. As the mercury rises to mid and high 20s and beyond, it's certainly no longer sufficient, and a large standing fan at full blast was needed to keep me comfortable. You do need to understand, if you're considering this product, the cooling capability of the seat is limited to the situation of your environment. It really can't match a regular fan, or what I say is a viable complete replacement for one either. The seat, as I previously mentioned, is the ERS3 Elite. On the measure of the quality and aesthetics, I can give it a thumbs up. It's nice and sturdy, an ideal seat for a sim cockpit. If you like the look of the seat but have no interest in the fans, go for it. The ERS3 Elite is a really good one. I do like it a lot. If you choose the HYPERCOOL instead, the addition of the fans adds quite a premium on top compared to the normal price of the Elite. And this is why I'm conflicted. Having the built-in fans is nice to have, and I am making good use of this function almost all of the time, but the capability of the cooling isn't really game-changing. And considering the price, you may end up being disappointed it's not doing an enormous amount of cooling to justify that extra cost. And that's where I'm at with this. It really is an excellent chair. And the fan feature is a nice bonus, but I really can't say it's worth paying this much more over the standard ERS3 Elite for that privilege, when a regular fan is always going to do a better job at cooling. Now, if you want to integrate some cooling into your cockpit, maybe consider, spending that money on a wind simulation kit instead. These things blast a whole lot of air, plus you get the added immersion too.